Dean Canaday here. You are listening to the Trips and Global on Wheels podcast hour, the place to be to learn about the latest and greatest life stories from people who are doing incredible disability advocacy work. So in August of 2013, Janet was nominated and confirmed by the United States Senate as the Commissioner of Rehabilitation Services Administration, RSA. RSA was established to provide leadership and resources to assist state and other agencies providing vocational rehabilitation services, VR, to individuals with disabilities to maximize their employment, independence, and integration into the community and workforce. Under her leadership, Janet was responsible for promulgating the most substantive regulation changes to the vocational rehabilitation program in over 15 years. She began her 27-year career with the Massachusetts Commission for the Blind, MCB, where she served as commissioner during the last 6 years of her appointment by Governor Patrick until her transition to Washington, D.C. She is also the recipient of numerous awards and honors, including an Honorary Doctoral Degree from New England College of Optometry, NECO, for her innovative partnership, which resulted in the establishment of a mobile eye care clinic for individuals with low vision conditions. In 2017, NECO dedicated the Janet L. LaBreck Center for Low Vision Rehabilitation Clinic in her honor in recognition of her commitment and dedication to the field of blindness. Most recently, Janet has established the Janet L. LaBreck Consulting LLC, in addition to becoming the founder of Synergy Consulting Partners. And we'll delve into both of those organizations a little bit later on, Janet. So to kick off, do you mind sharing with us, just going into a little detail about your disability and your journey?
Sure. I have a degenerative eye condition called retinitis pigmentosa, and 4 out of 6 of my siblings actually have the same diagnosis as well. We began losing our vision to each one of us as children. And it took approximately 2 years to diagnose the exact cause of the condition. There is no treatment or cure for retinitis pigmentosa, although recently, in the last couple of years, there has been a specific genetic therapy treatment for individuals who may carry a certain genetic marker, RPE65 gene. So individuals would have to be specifically tested to see if that therapeutic treatment would be appropriate for them. I am originally from Massachusetts and started my career path actually in Boston as a CAP counselor, Client Assistance Program CAP counselor, which really was helping individuals with a range of disabilities who were struggling with issues like Social Security benefits or housing or discrimination of any kind. And so was able to successfully be at the agency for a long period of time, over 28 years, before I was appointed as the commissioner for the Massachusetts Commission for the Blind, and then later on into the Obama administration. So my journey in terms of dealing with my eye condition, or the progressive nature of that particular eye disease, you know, is complex. Certainly it's not easy knowing that you're losing your vision, but I always had parents that really believed that we could certainly continue to do whatever career path we wanted to do, and had high expectations of us, and didn't let us off of too many things that they didn't ask of our other siblings. So they expected us to do the same things: clean our room, may be able to do it differently and acquire the accommodations or skill sets that we had learned while we were at Perkins. And but for the most part, they expected us, to perform and to function just as any other child.
Yeah, and you guys have, especially just seeing your journey up close, you've been able to gone on such an exciting ride as far as your professional career goes. So it's amazing how much you've been able to serve the disability community.
Well, I really thoroughly enjoyed it. I've had a great career. I've had a lot of great opportunities. I've had the opportunity to network with a lot of individuals. And so I always encourage people with disabilities to always take advantage of that opportunity to network. Whenever you have that placed in front of you, do not turn it down, because you never know where that next door is going to open for you. So I always encourage people to take advantage of networking and learn as much as you can about your current role and your current position. Even though it may not be in your career path in the future, take advantage of any opportunity to learn as much as you possibly can about that career path, because it will have an indirect, I think, impact on your own career path later.
Yeah, exactly. And I'm sure along the way you faced your own set of challenges. So I know that, as a person with a disability, who is also of color, perhaps you face some challenges that, you know, individuals who have disabilities but maybe are white or other colors, other race, may not necessarily experience. Can you shed some light on that?
Sure, yeah, it's not uncommon for sure, and I certainly did experience some of those challenges as well. I've always been a person that really prides myself on being able to make sure that I have the information, make sure that I'm really focusing on what I need to accomplish. And, so when you encounter those scenarios in terms of what you think might be discrimination, you're not quite clear sometimes, so it can be frustrating, when you encounter those circumstances. But I try not to reflect those circumstances back onto myself. I know that also it's an opportunity to educate and to raise awareness, but it is without a doubt a challenge, and that it has happened, to me periodically in my career pathways that I've been certainly focused on and have experienced it. And so it can be frustrating, but I try not to get held back and let that hold me back.
And I know you've always tried to, see the most positive, or make the best of it, make lemonade out of it, right?
Absolutely, yes.
So, and over the course of these nearly 3 decades of being in the disability advocacy sphere, I'm sure you've seen some technologies that have come onto market, but also maybe coming on into the future, coming on the market. So what technologies for people who are blind are you excited about? How do you think it will improve either your life or the lives of other people who are blind or have some sort of visual impairment?
Well, technology is amazing, because when I was in elementary school, there wasn't any technology. I had large print books that were probably 3 to 4 times the normal size of a regular book that I would carry back and forth to classes. And they were large print books, during those days. And so to come from that period of time, which feels like the Stone Ages, it really is amazing to see how technology has leveraged the opportunities as well as increased the ability for individuals who are blind and visually impaired to not only function more independently, but to be able to actually operate and function in their career pathways, whether that's in high school or whether it's in playing with your peers, or whether it's in your career path and you're having to, certainly perform the essential duties of your job. Technology plays a critical role in that. So it's changing so quickly. It's hard to pinpoint one piece of technology, but obviously as an individual with blindness, I use a screen reader called JAWS, and it stands JAWS, and it stands for Job Access with Speech. And I use that because it allows me to be able to access printed material that is on the computer. So I listen to what's being read to me on a computer screen. So I can respond to emails, I can do internet research, I can read articles on certain magazines and newspaper articles that may be available through the internet. I can shop, and which I like to do on the internet by using JAWS. So it's an incredible equalizer and really has enabled me to increase independence. But there's also a lot more available now in the area of wearable technology for individuals who are blind or visually impaired, certainly labeling in general. There's all kinds of aids and devices that are now pocket-sized devices that are portable, that you can take with you to help with screen magnification, so that you can read items in a supermarket or in a store if you're shopping for clothing. There is so much technology now, and there's incredible advancements in the area of both mobility travel, whether you're using GPS or some other type of navigation technology to support you if you're traveling through a community or through an airport, wayfinding technology devices that are now available that are placed strategically in places like airports or in stores to help individuals who are blind and visually impaired to navigate those environments, are just absolutely incredible equalizers and really do help with leveraging to increase mobility, increase independence in a range of different ways.
Yeah, exactly. And hopefully those, the technology that are especially currently in development, hopefully will be priced at the right price range so that more people can afford them, not only in the developing countries, but in the developed countries, but also in the developing countries as well, right?
Absolutely, and that continues to be a barrier. However, I am excited about the fact that each time you have a different iteration of technology today, and the more people that utilize that technology, the more mainstream that technology becomes. It does drive the price point down of that technology. So I think that, we're very fortunate in that more companies and more entrepreneurs are really focusing on technology, everything from clothing to make clothing more accessible for people that may not be able to dress themselves independently. And we didn't see that, years ago. So I'm really excited about the fact that the technology world in itself is becoming more mainstream. Self-driving cars, for example. We might be able to see ourselves one day as people who are blind or visually impaired in a self-driving car. The affordability is an issue. However, the technology certainly is being developed at a pace, that really significantly increases the likelihood that there will be some level or some intervention of technology in our lives that are really going to help change that paradigm of isolation, certainly keeping individuals out of the workforce, that will be able to help really leveraging the way that it will make a difference in people's lives on a day-to-day basis.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly. So we're going to talk a little bit about, your time as a commissioner. As we said in your bio, you became President Obama's commissioner of the Rehabilitation Services Administration. So why do you think the Rehabilitation Services Administration is crucial for people with disabilities? And what lasting impacts has it made over the last, however many years in helping people with disabilities in a number of ways, but especially in regards to employment?
Well, the Rehabilitation Services Administration is a federal agency that is very important to vocational rehabilitation programs in this country. And they're important because it's the funding stream for state agencies to provide vocational rehabilitation services to people with disabilities. And it supports the work that the states do at the local level to be able to ensure that they have the funding from the federal government in order to implement vocational training programs. So individuals can come to a state agency anywhere in the United States and islands and territories, and they can apply for vocational rehabilitation services if they are in need of assistance with obtaining a job, obtaining job training, attending college or university programs so that they can pursue a career and obtain their degrees, advanced degrees, so that they are in fact well positioned to then enter into the nation's workforce. But they're also equally important because they look at national policy and they set national policy and regulations for the Vocational Rehabilitation Program. And so the Rehabilitation Services Administration is that entity that sort of sets the rules and regulations for how the state agencies operate their vocational rehabilitation programs. So they look at ways for states to be able to operate, but they also have a certain amount of independence and are encouraged to innovate so that states can then make sure that they're providing those services as comprehensively to individuals in their respective states that need those services.
Yeah, no, excellently summarized for us there. And then in regards to hiring people with disabilities at RSA offices directly, either at the administration or at the vocational rehabilitation centers in the various states, what did you think of that situation? Were enough people with disabilities being hired in those offices?
Actually, the vocational rehabilitation program nationally has a very strong, I think, record of hiring and promoting individuals with disabilities. I think that if other employers did as well, we would have a much different employment outcome. So they do very well. Can we do better? Absolutely, we can always do better. So the emphasis is placed also on making sure that the candidates that are coming into either RSA at the federal level or into the state level, into the vocational rehabilitation programs, because they're very different. The VR programs in the respective states are all state employees. And so the requirements are different based on the states, but there are national requirements to become, for example, a vocational rehabilitation counselor, but also it's always strongly encouraged when states as well as RSA can bring individuals with disabilities into those respective systems because they reflect the individuals that they're serving across the country, so that when individuals with disabilities coming into the system to apply for services see other individuals with disabilities who are employed through the system, that has a powerful impact. It provides the opportunity for demonstrating strong role models within the agencies. It gives people with disabilities the opportunity to say, hey, I really can achieve my goal. Here's somebody who's doing the same thing that I want to be able to do. So providing that basis and providing that picture for them of strong role models who can in fact achieve success and outcomes in employment really does make a difference for people with disabilities.
Mm-hmm, exactly. Those sound like great services. And so you're busy doing that. Are there any, as far as future goals go, are there other milestones that you're excited about achieving?
I am really excited about really building, I think, on the existing work that I am doing and that my partners are doing with me as well. I'm very much excited about seeing where I think our nation is navigating the way through in terms of technology. And so I'm following that to see where there are opportunities there as well. I'm also equally excited about, the situation and the awareness now that has been raised around diversity and inclusion, because I think that is a market that needs to be improved all around, not just in the VR, world, but in general. So I'm very excited about following that and making sure that agencies have the support that they need to have a better understanding and encouragement and networking opportunities and collaboration, both with employers for the agencies, state agencies as well. And so I think that there is more than enough work, I think, to go around, and more than enough opportunity and talented individuals in the disability community nationally as well as dedicated and incredibly committed people in the vocational rehabilitation world as well. They don't get enough credit for the work that they do and for the skill sets and the expertise that they have acquired as individuals. It is so important to acknowledge that and keep that encouragement up, for the people that work in this field, because it is hard work. It absolutely is hard work. But I think between those communities, both the provider community as vocational rehabilitation, as well as the disability community, I think there's lots of promise out there.
Yeah, and we thank you so much for, all of your nearly 3 decades of work in that field and counting, with these organizations that you just developed. And thank you so much for your time today as well, Janet. That was our closing question, and we really appreciated your thoughtful responses.
Thank you so much for having me. Thank you also for the work that you do. And thank you so much for being so committed as well to these issues. It's important to keep them very much at the forefront and visible, and really do appreciate. And I think if I have one closing remark I'd like to make, and that is to encourage everyone to get out and vote in November. It is so important, and the disability community has, I think, a lot to offer, and we need our voices heard, and want to encourage everyone to make sure that they get out there and vote in November.
That is a great closing remark. Go out there and vote, everybody. Get your voices heard.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for having me.
Yeah, thank you. Have a wonderful day, Janet.
Thanks so much. Take care.
Did you like this video? If so, share it with your friends and be sure to follow us on social media. And if you want even more resources, be sure to sign up for our email updates on our website, traipsingglobal.com. Keep learning new perspectives, keep being inclusive, because it will make the world a better place for you and for everyone else. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll catch you on another episode of the Traipsing Global on Wheels podcast hour.